So I thought I'd share a little bit of my process with you, and excuse for the shaky camera. I'm holding it on a tripod so I can set it down eventually. But there's the starting line. I adjusted the laser so that it's closer to the actual pins for the gate. Get a more accurate time. So this top part pretty much is going to stay the same. I am banked crater corner, so that's going to be, I don't know, 35 degrees, because it was already, I believe, a 15-degree bank turn. So you're going to get a lot more bank for your buck out of that one. And then you're going to come down the pipeline right here. You can see I got all my supplies, and I've been working diligently. Once I had the frame up, I had the whole layout set up, and I tested 7 different cars, a couple straight out of the pack, a couple that were dusted, a couple metal on metal, and one that was metal and plastic. And they all did fairly well. Of course, the one straight out without the speed shop love, they did not get down as fast as the others. I could say that. All right, so I want to show you a few things that I'm working with. So this is my hot wire. And it ran about $50, but I can't imagine my life without it when it comes to cutting and shaping foam. Definitely a must-have if you're working with foam. Then, of course, the trusty, dusty hot glue gun. And do a lot of hot gluing, and I also have been using a staple gun for holding up the cardboard to reinforce the backs and where I have to fill in. And then, of course, the rest of it is foam, and right now I'm filling in the areas right in here. As you can see, there is some gappage. And I want to show you just a couple minutes of my process of landscaping, at least for the Obsidian Mountain scenery, which is mostly black, and as you can see, there's some purple highlights in there, and that's all going to get touched up in the process. But what I do is take the brush, dip it in a little bit of paint, and sometimes I'll work with a glue and water mix, and I just want to get that a little sticky right in there and down on the bottom. Not too much, because you're going to be doing it all over again once you put the material down. So what I'm using for material: paper towels. Yep. Family Dollar, Dollar Tree. Anywhere you can get a hold of some cheap paper towels, and then all I do is I'll lay it on there, get my brush wet again, make sure I have a ample supply of paint, and I cut right into that seam. And I just soak it down. Make sure all those little pores in the paper, you would think it would be absorbing it right away, but no, it doesn't. So just press it in there, get it in there good. And let's get a little more on there. Bring my paint can a little closer so I don't have so far to reach. Just paint right over this. As I said, it's all gonna get re-highlighted best I can. But the main thing is to cover up all these gaps. Okay, so then we're going to push this back a little bit because of course I'm going to be putting more down. So, and then what I do to give it a little texturing, I just take the brush, put it down in certain areas. Because lava, you don't control lava. Lava controls its own flow. And it likes to roll. And so that's what you see. If you watch a lava flow, you'll see it rolls over itself. And that's how it moves. I'll just tuck that in right there. And that's how I do it. Now I want to keep this end smooth on the bottom a little bit, or as much as possible, because that is going to be where the track is actually going to lay. And dip and repeat. And this is also a good process. Once this paint dries on the paper towel, it's gonna stiffen up this wall, which I didn't put anything directly behind this end because that is where all my mechanics and plugs and stuff are, so I want to make sure I have access to that. So I made it so that I can open that end piece up and get to whatever I need, or go under the first platform at the bottom of the pipeline going into Calamity Corner. And so there's a little peek at the process. Now you can use different color paints when you're working with this. Obviously mountains aren't, generally black. But yeah, paper mache, if you don't have the budget for all the scenic woods, landscaping products, or whoever else makes all that stuff out there, then paper mache, that's the way to go. Paint them any color you like. And the other formula I use, other than the glue and water combination, the white glue and water, which is, I can show you right here, white glue, and I already have a mix ready to go. And you dip the paper towels in there. I usually fold them up into 1/4 their size, and they're easier to wring out that way. And then I just lay them across the material I need to. Like down here, that's going to get a lot of paper mache. That's a new area of the OMR that has never been driven on or explored before. So that should be very interesting and exciting. At least I hope for the viewers and the drivers. But as I was saying, the other mix you can do for paper mache, the more common one is just a flour and water mix. You make it a little watery, a little more watery than a pancake mix. You don't want it too watery, and you don't want it thick like a dough, of course. But when it dries just like if you went out and bought a bag of plaster. So, good things to take note of. And so, there's the other end over there. Still a lot to do. Let me pull back real quick. So, I'll step back from the work area a bit. Here is the mess. I'm working on one stage at a time, like I said earlier. I had the whole track layout down, made sure all the platforms were where I needed them to be. And the way I wanted the track to be. And then I took everything up. And now it's landscaping and painting. And then I can put the track back down, run it again, run a few tests, and yeah, just to make sure everything's running smoothly. But I just wanted to give you a little peek at the process. And hopefully a couple weeks we'll be racing on the OMR again. Until the next race, aloha and mahalo.